الله وبركاته. إن
وعليكم
الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم.
السلام.
So, alhamdulillah, we are here with another pop-up show of R2F. We are going to have a discussion with one of the believers and supporters of Muhammad Qasim Dreams. I believe he's on now. Brother Ibrahim. Assalamu alaikum, Ibrahim. How you doing?
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Am I on now? Can you hear me?
Yes, can hear you.
Yes.
Alhamdulillah.
You're good. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. I'm alright, brother. How are you?
Alhamdulillah.
I'm good. I'm good. Alhamdulillah. No complaints. It's freezing in New York, but
It's freezing,
been
it's freezing
colder.
in the UK as well, akhi. It's
I would
very
Oh
imagine.
yeah, you got it.
24
Alhamdulillah.
degrees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah. Subhanallah.
Yeah, so like we're just having an open discussion, just telling our viewers real quick, just for anybody that doesn't know, Muhammad Qasim is an individual from Pakistan. You could just easily Google his name or, excuse me, search his name on YouTube. Just type in Muhammad Qasim Dreams, and he'll pop up all over social media and all over YouTube or anything. So you'll be able to find out who he is. But in the gist, he's someone who claiming he's having dreams where Allah and Rasul are coming to him and telling him to spread his dreams, and so that is what he's doing. He has a lot of followers all across the world, primarily in Asia with Pakistan, Indonesia, but he has followers in the West as well as UK, America, Australia, other places, Germany. That's just some of those places I've seen of some of the videos. And we, R2F, Return to Fitra, we are an organization that we try our best to help people return to the Quran and Sunnah, particularly those people that have been deceived and start cult followings. And we believe that Muhammad Qasim and his followers are in the beginning stages, or a little bit past the beginning stage, made a midway point of starting a cult, developed like a very big cult following, and basically that people should be aware of this and stay away from the falsehood. That's what we believe. That's our stance. And we're going to have a conversation with Ibrahim, who said that he contacted us and said he wanted to defend Muhammad Qasim. So floor is yours. We could talk about, whatever you want to talk about.
Jazakumullahu khairan. Okay, can I just get your two names, brothers? I don't know your names.
My name is
My name
Amr.
is Jaffer. Oh yeah. So Amr and then Jaffer. I'm
Yes.
Jaffer.
Okay, so Ja'far on the right in the grey and then Amr in the blue, yeah?
Yes.
Yes.
Allahumma barik alaikum. Okay. All right, so first just we start off by praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we thank him for all of his ni'am, the blessings upon us, his mercy for making us Muslims, and obviously we send salah and salam upon the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Ameen.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. So yeah, basically I messaged you specifically saying that I wanted to defend Muhammad Qasim, and I chose defend for a reason, and it's because of some things that I saw coming from this YouTube channel which you brothers have, called Road to Fitra, right? And so one of the first things that I basically wanted to defend is the honor of our brother, and I'll tell you why I say that. Because number one, I class him as my brother in Islam. Yeah, he openly, I've listened to him very carefully, so I got the news about this man from Pakistan and what their thoughts on him were, what people were claiming him to be on his behalf. And so obviously I was very speculative. I was like, okay, let me go and research this stuff here. And so one of the first things that became clear to me is he professes his aqidah when he talks, yeah. So when he speaks, he says, my aqidah is this. So he makes it clear from his own mouth. He said, I believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one true God, and there is none worthy of worship besides him, and that Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the last and final messenger, and there are no messengers to come after him. Yeah. So he's given testimony of faith. So therefore, inshallah, he's my brother, and he obviously denounces shirk. He says that obviously a big part of his dreams and it's all anti-shirk, which is from our aqidah as well, especially from the people of Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah, is obviously they heavily oppose shirk and its forms and its people. And the second thing is, I have seen him pray salah. Okay, I've seen him pray salah online. Anyone can see him pray. So in my mind is like, okay, alhamdulillah, I've seen him pray. I've seen him testify, give the shahada. So there's no reason for me to doubt his Islam. Yeah. Therefore, he is my brother, and therefore he has the rights upon me, which every Muslim has upon another. Okay. And now one of them things is, okay, the rights of a believer is one thing, and now the angle I want to approach this from is a bit different. Is because I'm a person a bit like you lot. I'm very speculative. I've been a part of different groups coming up to me believing in the Aqidah of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. So let me tell you a bit about my background.
Okay.
So I am Pakistani, right? And when I started practicing Islam, my family were basically, a lot of them were like from like a Sufi, Barelvi kind of background, yeah.
Yeah.
And so that was the only Islam that I knew when I obviously decided I want to start praying and stuff like that. Because in the West, we're very lost when we're in academic schools and everything. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us and the Muslims in the West, because we obviously we're in a lot of fitna, yeah, as you lot know, because you're in America, you're in a Western country as well. So for me, that was the only Islam I knew. And when I started practicing, I was with the Sufi people, like I was attending their gatherings, and I thought this was Islam.
Yep, same.
Yeah. So subhanallah, when I started I started hearing about differences first. So these people say they're wrong, these are wrong, these are Wahhabi, these guys are this, these guys are that. And then I heard about the hadith about the 73 sects in Islam, that one will enter paradise, the rest of them are in the fire. Now this really scared me, yeah. So at that point, the light bulb came on in my head, and I was like, okay, now I started thinking a lot. I was a bit scared, a bit worried. Am I with the right people? Am I not? Etc. And one thing led to another. I went to different groups until I learned about the Salafi manhaj and this and that. And for me, that was the closest thing to the truth which I could see. Like, okay, they're just following the narrations, and that's the safest place to be in terms of fitna, because how can you accuse him of going wrong, right? If he's just merely following what was passed down to us. So that's my background. And one of the problems I had when giving da'wah to my family and trying to tell them, I believe this thing is the truth and this other way is wrong, what I've been taught. Now, a lot of them, they really elevated the shuyukh and their people, their peer sobs and this and that. And like, it was a case of like, a lot of the times, the reason why they had such faith in these people who were misguiding them were because of dreams, which is the ajib thing here. So the reason I mention this is because I've heavily been anti-dreams, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah. So, like if a person says, oh, this guy had a dream, I'd be like, whoa, watch it, dreams and stuff like that. Like, I've heard about all of this stuff before. One sheikh had a dream that he was walking on water, etc. And now you have, mashallah, pictures of him in your household. And this is a form of shirk, like you can't do this. And like, so I saw like the clear misguidance. So it's important for me to mention this, that I've always been very opposed to this idea of that people's dreams are a reason why you believe in them, because these dreams can be from shaitan. And even if in the dreams or even if in real life this man is walking on water, but he's teaching you something which is in opposition to the kitab and the sunnah, then just know that he is the shaitan, as some of the salaf would say, and the ai''imah. Even if you see miracles from this man, well, he's a shaitan, right? Because he's misleading you from the path, and perhaps he's got his powers from shaitan, he's doing some sihr or something like that. Okay, good. So now when I look at Brother Muhammad Qasim, first of all, within the first, I'm not going to lie, 10 to 15 minutes, let me be very straight up with you. Like, I looked at him and I thought, you know what? I genuinely believe this guy's truthful in whatever he's saying. So right now, just
by looking at him.
Just by looking at him and by observing him, his body language, his face, the way he speaks, etc., looking at him very closely, my initial thought to myself was, okay, I don't believe this man is intentionally lying. Standing
so what about his mannerisms, his speech, or whatever that you looked at, and what specifically you were like, this is a sign of a truthful person?
So it's like this. It's like, sometimes a Muslim, right? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he's given the human being something very special. Like he's given us aql, he's given us intellect. He's given us intellect, he's given us the ability to see, to hear, and to use our understanding, our faculties. So a lot of the time, like for example, how many times has it been that a Muslim has come to you and said, I met this kafir today, and you know what? He was such a well-mannered individual, right? He was such a well-mannered person. He was really nice, and I liked the way he held himself. He was very eloquent in the way he spoke, because even from in the time of the Muslims, in the time of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there were people who were pagan Arabs, but they were known as noblemen. They were people who would not lie and who would not cheat and who would not, they were like people of honor, like that had honor in them, even though they had the worst thing with them, which was shirk billah subhanahu wa ta'ala. However, on the other hand, they're not the same as people who are rebellious, arrogant, and rude, and like, so that's in that sense, that's what I mean. Like when you look at someone, you can just think, you know what, and every person is free to have his judgment in this case. So I can look at someone and say, you know what, I genuinely like the way this guy talks, and I feel like, you know what, he's not deceptive, and that's from my own insight. And when I look at someone, because Allah,
So it's not actually from the akal, because akal is like intelligence, making decisions based off of reasoning and sound information and facts. That's what akal is. It's more from your feelings, just your emotions. Because I still haven't heard anything that actually would say like, oh yeah, a reasonable person, I could look at him by the way he's talking, by the way he looks, by the way he walks. That's a truthful person. Because I would like to hear an example of anything that a rational person would just look at somebody and hear how they talk and say, oh, that person's telling the truth. I could tell just by looking at them and listening to them.
Yeah, but the thing is a difference when you say that person is telling the truth, and I feel that that person is not lying.
Right. So whether you feel it or not,
So-
because
so
if you feel
basically,
it,
yeah,
that
what you
means you
said.
believe that they're telling the truth.
So what you
Right.
said exactly. So my feelings, my emotions, my thought, by my observations, this is how I, Ibrahim from Leicester, UK, this is how I feel. You know, and that don't obviously hold any weight for in terms of like any Sharia ruling or anything. No, this is just me. You know what I mean?
Right. So I just wanted to make it clear that because because we have to be clear, because this is a lot of, and I've talked to a lot of the people that support and believe in Muhammad Qasim, and they say a lot of things which the words mean something. Words may have a meaning, but what they're saying doesn't actually mean that, because you said like I use my akal and I could just tell by the characteristics but there's actually nothing you actually have said that would a rational person that's using their akal, their reasoning, to say that is a truthful person. You just felt it by yourself. This is a personal experience. Which I could look at. Some people say the same thing about politicians, like Donald Trump, or I don't know. You guys got your people over there, right? Like Tony Blair or whatever. I could just look at him and tell that he's telling the truth when they're known liars. So that doesn't actually mean anything.
Yeah, like what was the point for you where like you saw like, hey, either a video you saw or a dream that you heard about or you read about from Muhammad Qasim, was like, hey, this is the moment right here where I believe that he's telling the truth. He won me over. Yeah.
So for me, the point is like so there's a man in Pakistan and he has claimed that he's had dreams where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam are speaking to him. Now, I know, obviously, we know about dreams of people from the Salaf, and even in the Quran, and the Kafir who was in the prison, Yusuf alayhi salam. We know about the dreams of Rasulullah. We know about the dreams of some of the Sahaba, and it's very, very rare that I've ever heard someone come out and say that in my dream Allah has spoken to me and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, if this is true, now for me, it's like if someone has, whoever he is, if anyone has had this dream and it is the case that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has spoken to him, for me now this is amazing, because this doesn't happen every day. We can agree, yeah? This is not something that happens every day.
I would consider that a major claim, right? Like,
oh no,
a very
absolutely.
big claim.
It's a huge claim. It's a type of claim which, if you are intentionally lying about it, take your seat in the hellfire. Like for real. Because you are now, because this is not like another dream that you're telling. One thing is lying about a dream. We were told about lying about dreams, right? And that it's a very, very major sin. However, now it's a step further, because now it's like you're saying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam have spoken to me in it as well. So now you're gonna step further now it's even bigger. Now, either obviously I watched the video, the stream you had with our brother Tawheed from Leicester as well. I actually know him. And he obviously mentioned, like, you're either going to be majnoon, like crazy, you're deluded, yeah, or you're lying, or you are truthful. Okay, you're telling the truth. You've seen these dreams, like you're not lying. Like what you're saying is you've had this experience. So
well, let's be clear. So like, he doesn't have to be lying. He could really believe that he's having these dreams and just be wrong.
Wrong in the sense of
wrong in the sense of like, hey, if I believe that I have a dream about me owning a house, right, a house, a mansion, right, okay, but I don't actually have that dream. It's just a big house. It's not a mansion. I believe it's a mansion, but it's not. Like, he could have a dream where I believe that this person that I'm speaking to or who's speaking to me in this dream is Allah, but it cannot be Allah. It could just be someone who just has a strong voice and he hears him talking to his head. Like, it could not actually be Allah. It could just be, hey, I believe that this person speaking to me, this voice is Allah.
Similar to like what you just said about how you heard him speak and you felt that he's truthful.
Yeah.
You could be wrong, right? Right? You could be truthful and be just wrong. Like, no, he's actually not telling the truth. That's one option. The other option is that you're truthful, and you're actually right. And the other option is that you're just lying. You actually don't believe he's telling the truth.
Okay.
Right. And just like Muhammad Qasim, and just like you, he could feel whatever he wants and think whatever he wants about his dreams. Right. It doesn't boil down to he's either telling the truth. It's either true or false. No, it's either the dreams are either true or false. But whether he's lying about them, he could be telling the truth about the dreams, but actually be wrong about what he's actually seeing or experiencing.
So, okay, yeah, that's fine. Like, I don't have any problems with that. There are possible options. So, I want to get back. I want to get to the main point of why I actually reached out to you. So, you know, in the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam came with the message of Islam, there were different categories of people. So you had some people who they believed straight away, right? They knew, they believed it. Okay. You had some people who they said, they sort of waited. They're like, okay, I'm gonna wait, because we've heard there's some people saying this man's a prophet, so they waited. They didn't say anything. They just wanted to see what the situation was, etc. Like, you know, like Abu Sufyan, for example, radiallahu anhu, when he only accepted Islam after the Fath Makkah. And imagine, and they said that he actually accepted Islam because he thought, okay, now we're overpowered, I have to. But then, inshallah, Allah accepted his faith, and he's a true Muslim. He's a Sahaba, you know, he's a Sahabi.
Right.
So, and then there were people who rejected. So there were people who rejected it, right? And they were none other than the mushrikeen and the kafirin, the idolaters and the disbelievers. And if they died upon that, then obviously they were kuffar and they have the curse of Allah and they're in Jahannam. And there's another category of people, and these people are sort of at the top of the list when it comes to who are the worst. So you had the disbelievers, right? And then you had those who fought against the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But there's a category of people who some of the people of knowledge they mention are worse than all of them. You know who they were? They were the people who mocked the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they mocked Islam. And they give a reason for that. They say, okay, what's the reason for this? Because, brothers, when you mock something, right, and other people, they look at what's being said, right? Okay.
Let's be clear though. They mocked who?
So when they mocked the Deen, or they mocked the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they mocked
Islam, because
they mocked the claims.
The ones that were the worst were the ones that when they conquered Mecca, there was a list of individuals that were specific. Like you find them, you kill them. Right, it was like 9 individuals, and I think
it was like there's no saving them. But even like 4 of those still got saved after they converted. So
so they were mocking specifically. Yes, when you mock Rasulullah, you do mock Islam because Rasulullah is Islam, right?
Absolutely.
So they were mocking Rasulullah, and they were mocking, and you could say they were mocking the Deen of Islam. Yeah. So let's just be clear about that. What we're saying, they're not just mocking people, right? Because some of the believers would actually mock the non-believers, right? They would actually mock them. Like there was one instance when one of the Sahabas came in during the Treaty of Hudaybiyah, and I forget the name of he ended up becoming Muslim, but he came in and he said something bad about the Sahabas and Rasulullah, right? And Rasul and Abu Bakr literally said, "Go lick your mother's private parts."
Yeah.
Right. And they say like there's plenty of examples. So like we got to be very clear. We're not just saying, oh, they mock somebody and then they're the worst. Because actually the worst, like to be clear, the worst, these specific individuals were the worst, but in general categories of people, right? Because we can't use the specific individuals and say they're a category of people. The category of people that were the worst, based off of like what you're saying, you have the believers that became Muslim first, right? You have the 10 promised Jannah. Right, you have. We can keep going down, but as far as categories, the worst category of people are the munafiqs, the ones that say they believe, but they actually don't believe. Those are that's the worst category of people.
So that's absolutely fine, and feel free as whenever you feel like it's necessary to do so, inshallah, to clarify these things, inshallah, for the viewers, because we're all Muslims and we support the truth no matter where it is. So that's absolutely fine. Jazakallah khairan. So obviously we know that in terms of like levels of punishment as well, like we know that the ones who did ridicule and mock Rasulullah, etc., like it's a bit peak for them, right? It's gonna be it's not good, it's gonna be a hard day for them, right? So and the point I wanted to get to is the reason for this is because like when something comes, it's a truthful message, right? And when it's mocked, and that literally can tarnish the image of it. So some people might just look at that and say, you know what, these lot were laughing about that thing which is being spoken about, right? So obviously it makes sense why the people who mock, like, their punishment is going to be more severe than the average disbeliever, the one who just kept his mouth shut and disbelieved, and he's fair with his brother Allah. But a person who came out openly laughing at it and belittling it and all of this, he is a lot worse. We can agree with that,
Right.
right? And his punishment is going to be more severe with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Mm-hmm.
And just as we know that even those there were Muslims among the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and when they made that little bit of a joke, you know, and then the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you know, they were sort of rebuked for it. They said, we were just joking. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed in the Quran, he said, was it Allah and his messenger that you were mocking? And he did takfir on them. They became disbelievers after their belief, right? So the issue of mocking and making jokes and fun is a very serious thing, especially with matters of importance. So this is one of the things which I wanted to speak about, because I saw some things which really sort of disturbed me a little bit, brothers. And it came from the channel that you have, and that was remarks about Muhammad Qasim saying that he looks like Mr. Bean. And another thing is when there's basically like a Muslim sister wearing hijab, hafidhahullah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you know, preserve her, and she came, and even she's making videos against Muhammad Qasim, and then straight after that there's a video of Muhammad Qasim speaking, and it's a ridicule on him, because clearly the way it was put and the what was cut out of his video, it shows where he's struggling to speak English properly, right? Because he even says in one of his videos that
on our channel, on our channel you're talking about?
It was on the Road to Fitr channel.
You sure?
No, because we don't have any sisters making any content on our channel.
Are you sure?
Yeah, we're strictly
100% positive.
male dominated channel. It's just us three for the most part. It must be someone else.
Okay, it might have been, you know, like for example, when you go into the shorts and then it might have been like
it just
video or something
goes up.
Okay,
maybe. But so basically, what you're trying to say is that like you're trying to address us mocking Muhammad Qasim. Right?
I wanted to basically say that when I heard that what was said about him, like looking like Mr. Bean, etc., and obviously I've seen comments regarding that and whatever. Some people obviously laughing about it, etc. That sort of hurt me a little bit.
Yeah. So we definitely should not make mockery or make fun of anybody's like appearance or physical characteristics and stuff like that as well. But I would like to point out that I take kind of an offense to anybody comparing mocking anybody to mocking Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and his religion. Muhammad Qasim is not coming with a message of truth. He is spreading falsehood. He is spreading deviation. And in Islam, it's permissible.
That's according to your opinion, though. You have to make that clear.
No, that's not according to my opinion whatsoever.
But it is, because if there's people who agree and disagree and people have different views, you can't just say as if the truth is with you and you know.
So, for instance, you said you're a follower of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, right? So we go back to, or no, you don't. Because I'm a Sunni Muslim, I follow Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, so I don't go by my opinions, right? Okay. I go by what the Quran says, what the Hadith says, what Rasul said about it, what the Sahaba said about it, and on and on and forth, so forth, right? So on and so forth. So when you look into this, and if you like knew anything about how Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah like deals with dreams and people having dreams and how they play a role in our religion, the very minute that you heard that Muhammad Qasim, that Allah and Rasul allegedly told him to go spread his dreams to the world, you should have been right there. Oh, that isn't from Allah and Rasul, because Rasul clearly tells us that we only tell the dreams to those we love and those with knowledge. That's it.
Was that a command, or was that a general advice, or what was it like? Do you know that
it's a command? If Rasul says only do this, that's a command. So if you go and do it, you're disobeying Rasul. So Rasul is not going to contradict himself. Allah is not going to contradict himself. They're not going to go against 1,400 years of isnad of how we deal with dreams, all dating back to Rasul and himself, and that's it. So yes, that right there, that's against the Quran. So as soon as someone says, you know what, Allah in my dream came and told me to do something against Rasul, that's not my opinion. That's not my opinion whatsoever. This is what scholars have said all the way dating back to the Sahabas and all that. So in Islam, according to Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, it's permissible to mock innovators for their innovation. Okay. Right? So when we had the video of him having dreams and wet dreams and all that, yes, we are mocking him, this whole dream business, because his whole message, the whole thing is a mockery to Islam.
I don't think it is, Akhi.
I know that, but that is your opinion.
But okay, so if it's sort of going against the tenets of our faith, what sort of points is there with, like, what kind of proof do you have for that?
Okay, well, like Yeah, Jafar just gave it to you that way. And this is what happens with a bid'ah as well, right? Is that eventually people will start to attribute things necessarily to for religion to someone else, right? So I mentioned a while back that people will hit the followers of Muhammad Qasim will eventually say, hey, because of Muhammad Qasim, I avoid shirk. Instead of saying because of Allah, I avoid shirk, right? And then a day later, I saw on Facebook some brother saying, due to the teachings of Muhammad Qasim, I know what shirk is and how to avoid it. Allah teaches us this. Allah teaches us this in the Quran and in the story of Prophet Muhammad how to avoid shirk and what its forms, right? And this brother came on online on one of the many Facebook channels for Muhammad Qasim saying, hey, because of Muhammad Qasim, right? The person who I believe is this guy, right? He is the reason why I avoid shirk. That right there is wrong. So that's where it can lead to. So because if someone doesn't know proper Islam all the way, right? They can come new to Islam and just okay, this guy is super important in Islam. When he himself will tell you he's just a regular guy, right? Isn't that the whole thing of Muhammad Qasim? He's a regular guy. He just has dreams. Cool, right? But if people start to venerate him, right, and place him onto a high status, a high pedestal, that's where it becomes wrong. And if he's not dispelling that, then,
I agree.
Yeah.
No, I agree with that, and I think that you find this with in any case scenario, in any sort of gathering, in any sort of group where there's a mashayikh teaching or a sheikh or something, a person might do this. That's why we're taught to say what Alhamdulillah first, and then thank the person, because whoever's not thanked the people have not thanked Allah. But you have to attribute it ultimately to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But you can also thank the person, right, and say it is because of Allah first and then him. I've heard this so many times, and I learned from this, actually seeing it in gatherings where you have a sheikh and someone says it, and I always thought like, okay, they're thanking Allah first and then the person. Now, even if a person falls into that, obviously it's an error. It could be from jahl, it just could be from ignorance. He doesn't know yet. Okay, akhi, look, from the mannerisms of Tawheed is you obviously thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first and attribute it to him. And
then this is not really an individual thing. This is the vast majority of the followers, because you see it. You guys, without excluding the robots, you guys they have posting comments, because that's a whole different topic, right?
Yeah.
The people that are actually posting comments and stuff, like just think about the hysteria around this, because it's clearly a cult, right? There's more comments of I believe Muhammad Qasim in his dreams than I believe in Allah and his messenger.
Yep.
You have people that are recently become Muslim. They're actually making Umrah, going in front of the Kaaba and saying, I believe in Muhammad Qasim. Right? Why would anybody like this? This is clearly developing into a cult following. And that's, just like you said, it happens with like sheikhs and all that. At least with sheikhs, right? There's somewhat of a little bit of a reason in there, because the sheikhs, the scholars, were actually commanded and told by Rasulullah that we're supposed to honor them and respect them, right? And they actually have knowledge. They actually are teaching Islam. Muhammad Qasim is not a sheikh, right? He's barely even Muslim, right? Most scholars, if they looked at what he's been saying and stuff online, according to just the thing on Salat, they say, yeah, he's outside the fold of Islam, right? Because when you abandon a prayer, when you miss your prayers on purpose, when you delay your prayers and all that, 3 out of the 4 great imams say that a person's not Muslim anymore. So when a person asks them, like, how often do you pray? Like in a week, how much do you pray? Like, I think it was like they said, like, what, once or twice? And it's like, oh, less than that. He prays less than once or twice a week. Like, that would remove a person from the fold of Islam. And this is beyond the stuff that goes against the Quran and Sunnah that he's preaching. This is just basically in his regular talk.
Yeah. No, I understand where you're coming from. So again, like my basic, I agree with what you're saying in terms of like the issue of the salah and stuff like that. Obviously, we know that ulama have said that there definitely will come a time, depending on the level of abandonment of the prayer, where you are outside of the millah. And some obviously had different views. Sheikh Al-Albani had one view as well, rahimahullah. Others, they differed. There's ikhtilaf. And obviously, one thing is for certain is that we as Muslims, we don't want people to be punished by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because his punishment is severe. So whatever chance there is of any khair that they're doing, obviously, like for example, I saw Muhammad Qasim pray, and he, even in Urdu, he says, Mere paas namaz bhi nahi hai. That doesn't literally mean I've abandoned prayer or I've forsaken prayer or I don't pray. You know what I mean? It means
abandoning prayer, let's be clear, abandoning prayer according to Islamic standards is as little as delaying it unnecessarily. Right? So like you guys try to run away from that issue to say like, well, he prays sometimes, that means he didn't abandon it. No, he has abandoned it. If you just pray sometimes, you fall clearly in the category of abandoning prayer. It's a better word for it when you translate the hadiths, because the hadiths are translated from Arabic into English. But a better translation to that, the meaning of what that hadith means, right, is being neglectful in your prayer. That's why you see some translations actually using that phrasing, because it's not abandoning. Abandoning means like I'm not praying ever
again.
all.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah,
the meaning is that you're neglectful in your prayer. Muhammad Qasim is clearly neglectful in prayer. So like you have the other hadith where Rasul said, verily between shirk and kufr is being neglectful in your prayer. Yeah. So like one of the things that you guys like, Muhammad Qasim message is just to abandon shirk in all its forms. Well, what about that form of shirk? Being neglectful in your prayer.
I don't know if that's not really shirk in within itself. It's more like along the lines of it can become kufr. So there's a difference
between shirk and kufr. So if you're between shirk and, right, that means you got a little bit of both.
No, because I believe that generally speaking, in terms of the thing is the future of a person we don't know. So
right,
whether if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decides that He wants to guide Muhammad Qasim, and because look how many people later on in their life they do pray, and we shouldn't be from those who basically don't want no goodness for the brother.
Oh no! Don't get this. We want him to become one of the best Muslims he possibly can be. All right, inshallah, in the time that he has left, Muhammad Qasim bin Abdul Karim can become a scholar, a student, whatever he needs to do to get closer to Allah. All right, to become a Muslim. We want that for every Muslim out there, every single one of you. But currently, he's not there yet. So
I agree.
Exactly. That's all we're saying. We're saying that currently he's not there yet. So he's not someone people could take from and say, "Hey, I'm learning from him." He's not in a position to teach anyone anything about Islam. So I don't know why people are taking
not even his dreams, because even in dreams, we know that dreams are very ambiguous, right? Very ambiguous. When we have true dreams, like it happens exactly how you see it in a dream. If I had a dream that I was gonna go to the store and trip over the curb, right? And then the next morning I wake up, I go to the store and I trip over the curb. Like that exactly happened exactly in my dream. Anything other than that, it's ambiguous. Yeah. It takes a high level of knowledge of Islam, the culture, language, symbols, analogy, and all these different things for someone to be able to have a chance at interpreting a dream. So when Muhammad Qasim says, how is, like, just using your logic, do you think Allah would tell someone, go spread the message of your dreams, even though you aren't qualified to even understand what they mean?
So I feel like if you look at the place where he is, and I was actually going to mention this point earlier, was that the reason why sort of I have in my heart I have a big love for this brother, and I'll tell you why. Because like the way he is talking about shit, because that a person, even within having your salah on point, right? Let's just say you're someone who prays 5 times, and Allah Mabarak, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from His mercy has given you that ability to really uphold your salah. Now, even within that, there can be things that can destroy you. Okay. Now, obviously, we don't assume this on people because Allah knows this, right? There can be riyah, right? There can be obviously the intention is not right. There is nifaq. There can be so many different diseases. Okay. So in the area which my family are from, like as I told you before about my background, when I was like seeing all of these dream stuff and what the sheikhs are on and all of this, I pretty much became really anti-Pakistani, almost, you could say. I became like against my own culture a little bit because they didn't really represent anything good for me. Like
we can understand that, yeah.
Yes, like there can be a lot of pride and arrogance with regards to people and their nationality. So if someone's from Pakistan, they're proud of being Pakistani.
Yes.
But the way I saw it was, what's it to be proud about, really, when all that place is really known for at the moment is shirk and bid'ah. Like, let's be honest, like this is really rampant in the East, so in Pakistan. So you know what? And because these people, like, they really, like, they get a bit hoo-ha about dreams a lot. The Sheikh Bir Sahib had a dream and it came true and this and that. So I believe him. He's on the haqq now and everything, yeah? So even if someone like Muhammad Qasim, yeah, if it's going to take something like dreams, which people will then be like, oh, he's had a dream, let's listen to it. But now it's an opportunity for him, bearing in mind he's being truthful and not deceiving no one. Yeah, Allah knows best. If that's going to be a way which Allah uses someone to really dig down like in terms of shirk, and teach it to people, because I've listened to some of the ways he's basically spoke about it, and wallahi, Allah barik, like I really give it to him, because you know I can tell he's got some knowledgeable people around him who do know Quran and Sunnah, you know, and they do help him, you know. They're not going to excuse, like,
he has handlers.
He has handlers, yeah. So I don't know what you want to call them. I'm just talking about general, like, Muslim brothers who are around him, and you know they have knowledge in that. So like personally, the way I've heard him, like I'll give you an example. So in some of the dreams, I've actually benefited from them, and inshallah, I hope that the ajr will all go back to him now for this action that I do. You know how you say people attribute it to him. So one thing that I would definitely do is say, you know what, it is because of, first and foremost, ultimately from Allah, and then from him, certain things because of him and his dreams, that I've actually started implementing in my own life, which I've never done before, because it gave me like that.
And like, for example, like what?
So for example, one of the things, as a result of his dreams, he says that what he's done is he's got, you know, like a kind of spray paint, like a black spray paint, right? And he defaces anything with an image inside his house, because that's what he was taught in his dreams. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he said that in one of his dreams, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told him that, Qasim, the only reason I'm having mercy on you and I'm helping you is because you have started saving yourself from shirk. And he says as well that in his dreams.
No, so what have you like learned or gained from his dreams? That's what I was asking.
So the action itself. So even though I was upon, like, you know, for example, like the manhaj and, you know, the way of the Ahl Hadith and Tawheed, etc. When I listened to this, and I was like, you know what, let me do the same thing, because there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, that's a good deed, inshallah.
So you had images in your house?
As in, no, we're not talking about portraits. We're talking about, like, even products which you'd go unnoticed. Yeah, they go unnoticed. The everyday products, you know, you can be washing up liquid. It can be anything, clothing, you know, with a little label, shampoo, anything like this, you know. So I did the same thing. I started at deface, and I was like, you know what? Look at how many of these are in my house, and I don't even know about it, you know. And perhaps this neglecting it intentionally, it might be a sin, because we were told this isn't like a normal sin. This is linked to the tawheed and the shirk, and, you know, like opposing the way of the Muslims.
So you went and performed an action,
yeah,
based off of the dreams of Muhammad Qasim. And have you spoken to any scholars or ulama about, like, images on products like shampoos or food product containers? Have you spoken to any of them about how you should deal with those?
I know that from what I've researched, basically, because usually what I use is the website of Sheikh Saleh Al-Munajjid from Saudi, islamqa.info, very, like, obviously famous website. And so far, from what, obviously there could be more, what I have researched is, or from what I've come to know, is that the one thing that he says is okay are silhouettes. So, you know, where there's no actual image or eyes, but other than that, anything with a face on it, like, you should really get rid of it. And even if after, as this is like, okay, even if, like, it's an image, right, what am I gonna lose out from defacing it? Is something bad gonna happen to me? No. And if I do it with a good intention, right, because I'm now, bear in mind, I'm not saying to anyone else that if you don't do it, because I'm not in a position to make a ruling on no one. But if I do it with my intention to fulfill the amr of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where he told Ali radiallahu anhu, he sent him on the mission to go and not leave anything with the image, like defacing it. Now I hear all of these hadiths, so I'm like, okay, you know what? Muhammad Qasim had this dream. There's nothing wrong with me acting upon this with the same intention to get good deeds, get closer to Allah by defacing these images.
No. So I'm gonna stop you there. So in Islam, and you know, it's good that you're trying your best, and we should all try our best to adhere to the Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. And there's things that we're gonna learn as you know, as we keep going. Just like I'm learning, you should be learning, and all that, right? We should not do things without knowledge. And, you know, from what I'm hearing is you heard from a dream in Muhammad Qasim's, and then you just went and did your own solo research, and you're like, okay, I should just do what he did, right? And if you go, I mean, I don't know when's the last time you read the fatwa from IslamQA.org about that, about the images and stuff. It does not say go and deface the images on products and all that. So you went and committed an action pretty much without knowledge. And as Muslims, we don't do that. We act. We know before we act.
No, but the action itself, is not haram. The action is not haram, so that's fine. So it's because it's an action which is not haram, and the intention behind it is good, and it's an action which is allowed. Because I have the choice if I want, even if I don't like the picture of a duck on my curtain.
Right, but here's what I'm really getting at. you actually don't know if you benefited from it.
In terms of, no, I hope for reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
You hope, but you actually don't know. So you like,
so no, of course not.
Like you said, you said that you've benefited from Muhammad Qasim's dreams
because of that.
And so far, like all I'm hearing is that he did something, and because you're already enamored with him and follow his dreams, you went and did the same thing. Even though there's no actual scholars or ulama actually telling you to actually do that. The people that actually would be able to make some kind of verdict and say, yeah, this is what you should do. Because whatever Muhammad Qasim does, because if like, I don't care what he does, if he doesn't even know how to pray, that he should be making 5 prayers a day, and him going into what benefit is him defacing products in his house when we don't have to actually do that, right? Food products, shampoos, and conditioners, just to go and sit and not pray for an entire week. Not even once.
So have you researched like the ruling on this then? On like anything that comes in with an image?
Yeah.
Okay, and can you like obviously give us some inshallah like what you learned? What did the ulama say?
Okay, so if you're buying these things because of the image, then that's haram. Right? This haram. They say that if you can avoid them, like if there's like you're buying a pack of, or say let's just stick with shampoo. You're buying a shampoo, one has a picture of a human or whatever on it, and you can find an equal product that's, you don't need that. Go buy the product that doesn't have the image on it, right? But it's not haram if you have to buy these products and you need them in your house to have products in your house that have images on them. They don't say go and deface them and scratch them out and spray black paint on them. There's no fatwa out there from the scholars.
Okay, that's fine. But even if, for example, let's just say me as a believer, let's just say I'm uncomfortable with, I'm uncomfortable with this product with the face of a kafir. I don't want it. And I advise my brothers, for the sake of Allah, like, bro, listen, we're Muslim. Like, just general, not rulings, but just nasiya, like, bro, listen, at the end of the day, it's a kafir guy on there. Like, he's a clean-shaven man. Like, he's not, like, he's clearly
he's
kafir,
a clean-shaven man. So you'll deface the clean-shaven kafir on your soap bottle, but you'll follow the clean-shaven guy who claims he's Muslim that doesn't pray.
No, but I don't follow him.
Oh, you do? You just explained how you follow him.
No, I said I benefited from something which I had from him. It's different.
Well, so if someone does an act and they tell you should do this act, and you go do the act, that's
he didn't say
somebody.
He didn't say you should do this act. I've never heard him say you should do this.
Even if they don't do that, say that. If someone does an act and you do that act because they did that act, that is the definition of following someone. Like, you're following them. If someone takes a step this direction and I take a step in that direction because they took a step in that direction, that is following somebody. But I don't are a follower of Muhammad Qasim.
No, but because the thing is, it's like it's kind of like, it seems a bit, what you're saying is a bit like of an exaggeration. I'll tell you why, because we're talking about one specific thing here, which I've spoken about, right? I'm not saying, I've not told you he has this manhaj, I follow his manhaj. Nothing like that. I'm saying that there's this one thing that I heard from his dream, and it basically just clicked in my head, like, oh my gosh, I probably have so many products in there with images, faces of kuffar and things like this, and I like the idea of getting rid of them. I believe that inshallah there can be ajr for it, because we know that this is proven in the sunnah as well, to deface images. So even just based on me reading the hadith and then me deciding to implement it in this way, right, I can hope for reward from Allah because I'm not doing anything which is a bid'ah. Do you know what I mean?
No, but you don't know if you are.
I don't know if I'm what.
You don't know if you are doing a bid'ah or not.
How can that be the case, Akhi? Because a bid'ah is innovating a new thing which didn't exist before into the religion, right? So now the thing is, we don't
like, so a bid'ah, like you said, is introducing something new into the religion, hoping to get benefit from it.
Yeah.
All right. So where, according to the Quran and the Sunnah, and the best interpreters of the Quran and the Sunnah in our times are who? The scholars, the ulama. Yep. Allah commands us in the Quran. If you don't know, go to those who know.
Yep.
At the point that you heard Muhammad Qasim doing this, you are in a state of you do not know. That's why you said you went and you did research and you looked into things and all that, right? You were going to try to find how to know, except you actually didn't go ask those who know.
No, but there
right?
were.
So you said you decided, you felt it was good. I made this decision to do this based off of this, based off that. You had your reasons for doing it. I'm not saying you didn't have any reasons that sound good or whatever, but you actually don't know. And you actually didn't go to those who know. So then you said, you know what? I'm going to deface these images, right? I'm going to spray them with spray paint and hope to get a reward from Allah. Now, if that is not prescribed by the Quran and Sunnah, based off of, and we go to the scholars to find out, is this what we should do? And you did it, hoping for reward. That, my friend, is the definition of bid'ah.
Okay, but what about when the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam saw the sketch of a bed on his curtain and he rubbed it off?
I don't know. I'm not a scholar.
But this is the point.
See how easy that was?
But the thing
no,
is,
you see how easy that was.
No, that wasn't. Okay, look, this is what I'm saying. Look,
we do not make up our own religion as we fly and say, you know what, I read this hadith, I read this ayat. Me, a person who is not a scholar, I'm going to go ahead and make this decision and act upon it, even though I am not qualified to know what to do with that. Because Prophet Muhammad says something doing that. There could be other hadiths, other scenarios, other contexts that we don't know about that because we're laymen or students of knowledge trying to learn that would affect that. If we just go, you know what, I heard this hadith, I'm going to go do it, right? Okay. I'm going to go do it. Like, for instance, for example, right? I heard a hadith about, I'll bring it to Muhammad Qasim. I heard a hadith that between shirk and kufr is neglecting the salat. And then I heard another hadith that, that makes them non-Muslim, and it's takfir. I heard another hadith that we execute people that aren't Muslim. That, right? So you know what? I'm going to go kill Muhammad Qasim. I just made all those decisions by myself. That is, on a lesser scale, what you're doing. You're just making your own rulings up based off of your own whims and desires. But from a guy, again, we keep going back to this, from a person that is barely Muslim.
But the thing is, this is not the case. What you're talking about is something different. And I've explained to you why. Because there are hadith which clearly prescribe and command the believer that when...
Clearly, according to... Where's the fatwa? If this was something that was clear, Islam Q&A is a great website.
But I didn't finish.
Type in any question. They'll give you the source, the background, the evidence. Go in there and look, because you said you already looked. Where on any of these fatwas that are run by ulama does it say, go in your home, take spray paint, and cover up all the images and all the
I didn't finish my sentence, Akhi. That's not what I was saying. I was saying that there's clearly prescription in this deen, and not only that, but also a command. That which is like when you see a portrait, you deface it, okay? And that is because angels of Rahmah do not enter the house in which there's an image, okay? So that's one thing that we know. We can all agree on that, right? And the second thing is there are other hadith as well which support this idea that images are not good in the house. As there was an image, a sketch of a bird on a curtain, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, these are not allowed in the house of the Messenger of Allah. So the Aisha radhiyallahu anha, she said that we turned them into cushions, right? So we basically got rid of it, we turned it into cushions, okay? So now
I'm gonna play a little game with you, right? And this is what you guys are doing. And I was talking to a friend last night. He's non-Muslim. He was interviewing me about some of the work we're doing on our channel. Look out for it in the future, y'all. Mike Russell's gonna be putting some out for Return of Fitra. So that was our little plug. But anyway, a person can literally argue for anything. And we could play a little experiment right here. If I came to you and said, when you go and buy a soda from the vending machine, guess what happens inside? There's little fairies in there that they pull the sodas from a magic portal and then drop them down to you every time you put money in there, right? What would you say to me if I told you that? Would you believe me?
No.
Why not?
I just wouldn't believe it.
Just why? I mean, do I seem like I'm a liar? Why wouldn't you believe it?
Okay, so what I would say to you is, let me hear that again, brother. Say that again so I understand correctly.
I said that when you're in the vending machine, right, when you put money in, there's fairies that live inside the vending machine. And whenever you want to buy a soda, you put the money in and the fairies reach into a magic portal into some other dimension, grab the soda can, and then drop it down the chute so that you can have your soda. That's what happens inside of there. How would you go about disproving me?
The thing is, I wouldn't really try too hard to disprove you. I'd say, listen, if that's what you believe, like, I don't know what your case is, but I don't believe that.
And then if I said, you know what, and every time you do it, Allah blesses you.
Yeah, I wouldn't really believe that, no.
Okay, so the point is that no matter what you said to disprove me, because basically a rational person would say, well, let's prove it to me. Let's open up the machine. And then you could open up the machine and see, look, there's no fairies in there. Then guess what? I'll move the goalpost and say, you know what? That's because whenever you open up the machine, the fairies run and hide.
Okay.
And but this is what you're doing, right? you can keep moving the goalposts. As Muslims, as someone who says that they adhere to the Quran and the Sunnah, Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, right? We don't go and start interpreting hadiths and say, oh, that's clear. That's this. This means that. That means that. We go to the ulama, right? We go to the ulama. We go to the fatwas. We go to that. And like, yes, if we have no other choice and like there's a hadith, yes, we can follow it. But you have the resources in front of you to go say, hey, should I go follow Muhammad Kasum and go spray paint all my store products? You have the ability to do that. No, so anything that you say in your interpretation, it doesn't really matter to me, because all I'm going to do is, it might sound right. I'm going to go back to the scholars and what the scholars say and say, hey, is what he, and you could be correct. You might be. But you saying, hey, there's a hadith that says this, there's a hadith that says that. Yeah. That doesn't mean anything, because we can interpret anything. Just like you said, the hadith with Rasul said, there cannot be any images in the Prophet of Allah, in the house of the Prophet of Allah, right? I can reinterpret that and say, that only means the Prophet of Allah. I'm not a prophet, so I can have images in my house. You see how we can keep doing that game? That's why we don't interpret things ourselves.
No, but the thing is, it's not really a game, or no one's really trying to interpret anything, because I think this is a known fact. You know, no one who's really a believer in Allah on the last day would not, like, and you've researched this, you wouldn't be okay with having a picture of a person in your house, right, on a wall.
Yeah, on the wall. Yeah, that's what you're talking about, like on shampoo bottles or on like a pack of oodles and noodles or something like that. That's what you're talking about. You guys
I know. So what I'm saying to you is because I already know that it's legislated for me to remove it from my wall. Okay. Now I'm not implying rulings on anyone else to do this. I'm doing it for myself. I feel uncomfortable that these same images are on these products and there's no need for them. So I'm gonna deface them, hoping that Allah will reward me. Now,
which is you doing something that is not legislated by the Quran and the Sunnah. That is the definition of innovation, brother.
So are you saying that that's okay? So you now have to prove to me that me doing this action is a bid'ah.
That doesn't work that way. You have to prove the action from the Quran and Sunnah.
But I have already. There's clear hadith to deface images.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Yeah, Sheikh Ibrahim.
Not Sheikh. Assalamu
alaikum. Good to hear you, brother. So as a rule, all acts of worship are haram. They're not allowed, except for what's explicitly legislated by Allah and His Messenger. Okay, as a rule. So when you do something that you're hoping that Allah is going to reward for, you're going to do an act that you hope is reward. It's an act of ibadah. No. Any act that you do, it has to be legislated. So if you're saying that you decided to deface all the random products in your house that have images on them, and you're hoping for a reward, I mean, you can hope for that, but you have to know that you may not be rewarded for that. And actually, you could be punished if you're doing it without knowledge. You can be punished for innovation. So there's also the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam when Aisha radiallahu anha, she had dolls at a certain time. And as we know, that images, even cartoons and different things, the ulama have even said that these things are allowed and permissible for children. So your idea of going through your house and spray painting, defacing random products and different things that may have an image on it, that's not really, it's if you would have talked to a sheikh about that, they would have told you that's not necessary. Actually, it's going overboard, and it's just some random thing that you're doing. Now, if you think you're going to get rewarded for it, Allah knows best, but it doesn't appear that you will be. But if you're doing it based off of some sort of guidance from Muhammad Qasim, then it's possible that you would get a punishment. But that's not really why I wanted to jump in. I wanted to jump in on this conversation just because it seems like all the people that are following Muhammad Qasim, the thing that we get trapped on is, and I know you said, I caught up to where we were, and I listened to where you said you were not a follower of his, correct? You said you're not a follower of Muhammad Qasim. You don't follow him, right?
I mean, it depends, because there's the way that the brother, what's your name, to Ja'far?
Jafar, yeah.
Jafar. Yeah, it's the way Brother Qasim said it, because we were speaking in a specific context and he was saying based on this you're following him, and I disagreed with that.
Okay, let's ask the question very clearly then. Do you follow Muhammad Qasim? Yes or no?
What do you mean by following?
He is someone who's claiming to be receiving a form of revelation from Allah. So
dreams.
Yeah. And so he's saying they're from Allah, and he's then going with those dreams and instructing people on what they should do. People are basing events of the future off of it and things like that. So the thing is, most people, and I'll just cut straight to the point. Almost every Muhammad Qasim supporter, they mention, oh, he said avoid shirk. And they say, but all you had to do was open the Quran. If you were just a normal Muslim, you would have known that already. So that's like me saying, right? So Rasulullah ﷺ said in his farewell speech, right? In the farewell sermon, he said, there's no superiority of a black over a white, and he made this statement. Now, if I say that statement, right, and I just attribute it to myself, you might think, oh wow, Mubarak, that guy from USA, he really got us to understand, and he got us to think about not being racist and to not feel the superiority over a black person or white person or any race over another. I just took that from Rasulullah, what he said, and said, so you really don't need to necessarily, it's not about me at all. I literally am just saying something that Rasulullah already said. And if, as being a Muslim, these things that Muhammad Qasim are allegedly leading people to believe, avoid shirk, these things, but it's funny how he says avoid shirk, but he never said the 5 pillars. One of them is salah. The 5 pillars, the basic of being a Muslim. No one ever mentions that, but he does mention that he doesn't pray. So what I'm saying is that these are things that are very, very basic as a Muslim. To be a Muslim, you have to know to avoid shirk. Okay, that's number one.
Yeah.
So the thing is, what this man Muhammad Qasim is doing, what's very clear, is that he's just saying things that Allah already said, that Rasulullah already said. You can reject him outright because you don't need him. Just like if I come and say there's no superiority of a black over a white, you don't need to be. I mean, I'm still irrelevant because Rasulullah already told us that, and I'm coming after the fact. And
but
so,
what do you mean by like? Sorry, continue.
So what I'm saying is that what he's doing, for the most part, because you guys always lead with, he said avoid shirk. Allah already told us that. That's nothing. That's not groundbreaking. That's nothing new. That's nothing you need to even give him any credit for at all, because he had a dream about that. Okay, that's number one. If you are involved in shirk, then that's a problem that you need to correct, and it's not something that Muhammad Qasim, that Allah needs to send a dream to Muhammad Qasim for. He's not going to do that. He already sent Rasulullah, and the Quran, the entirety of the Quran is about avoiding shirk.
No.
So, but what he is trying to do, and what these cults and these deviant groups always try to do, they use the religion. They get you to believe in some of the things that are already very basic and logical and reasonable about the religion, and then they start sliding in their foolishness. So when he starts telling you about the future and these type of things, it's natural human nature. Sometimes we get caught up in those things and we want to know the future. Every person wants to know something about the future because we don't know. But what we have to go back to, as Jafar was trying to say, we have to, if we are ascribed to being Muslims, Sunni, upon Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah, we have to know that there is a certain protocol that we follow according to following the Quran, the Sunnah, and what y'all base everything off of is these dreams. And according to the Muslims, Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah, not the deviant ones, only the deviant the people who are deviant and who have either left the fold of Islam or are barely teetering on the edge of it, in and out, are the people who have these views about people's dreams and about people. The only one whose dreams are relevant to the ummah overall is Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's it. Anyone else who has a dream, it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant.
But then
And
what
that's,
about, like,
and I'll leave it there.
No, there was an instance actually in the time of Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu anhu. I can't quote this exactly, but it was like either a tabi'i, a sahabi, or a tabi'i. He had a dream, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told him to deliver a message to Umar in the dream, and he delivered it. And Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu anhu became very fearful because of the fact that just happened. Like, did that really just happen? You know? And obviously we know about their iman. So even that. So that, for example, was an instance.
So what did that result? What did that result in? This alleged incident? Because I never heard of it, but it may be true.
It was information. So he used that as a way to prepare for something that basically he needed to do as Amir.
I've never heard of this. I've listened to the Surah. I've listened to the stories of the Sahabas. But it could be true. We'll look into it.
If
However,
you research it, it's interesting.
Okay, even if let's just we can take him as face value for now. Even if that's still irrelevant. How does that have to do with Muhammad Qasim's dreams? Because number one, you personally can act on a dream that you see if you want to. If you want to, what you cannot do is tell people that they have to follow your dreams. I mean, I guess you could say, hey, listen, I had a dream about this, so you might not even, I had a dream that you were going to crash your car, so you might not want to drive the car anymore. Just, take the bus or whatever. I mean, I guess you could tell someone that, but as far as the religion is concerned, and to say that Allah is going to punish people, because if I'm not mistaken, and I'm not an expert on Muhammad Qasim's dreams, I really don't even get too far into the text and the actual content of the dreams. I don't even need to know. I don't even need to know. But if I'm not mistaken, there is parts in his dreams where he actually says that Allah said that he's going to punish the people if they don't follow him and believe in his dreams. Is that correct? Or am I? Yeah. So
no, I don't know. I don't know, actually. I don't know about that.
No, you are correct. You are correct.
Okay. Correct. So this is what always happens. We always wind up more knowledgeable about what these cults are supposed to believe in than them. So for you, Ibrahim, to be a follower but not follower, a believer but not believer, a supporter of Muhammad Qasim, but you don't even know the depths of what he's saying in these dreams is problematic. For you to not know that, and we know that, and we ain't even following him.
No, but the thing is I have researched, I've listened to pretty much all of his own speeches where he speaks himself. So I feel like I can actually clarify certain things. So for example, if people says that Muhammad Qasim is saying to do this and to do that, he's not really said Muslims do this, etc. Right?
Okay.
He is saying, this is a man who is saying.
No, so here.
Sorry.
Here we have to. So like, this is the semantics you guys play in these cult groups. We have a lot of experience with this.
Okay, but what's all
we
this
know all the tactics.
What's all this that you guys and you cults and stuff like that? Because I'm not.
No, because brother, I'm saying this with all sincerity.
Yeah.
You are part of a cult.
I'm part of a
cult.
I'm
saying this with all sincerity. Yes, you are. You don't realize it because because you are a believer in Muhammad Qasim.
What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
Believer? Do you believe in his dreams?
What do you mean by believe in his dreams? You have to be more specific.
Do you believe they're true? Do you believe they're true dreams?
I believe he is a truthful man.
So you believe his dreams are true because you're up here defending him for his dreams. So
I believe, right, that what he's saying, he does not intentionally lie, as people have claimed and accused him of.
Okay, cool. So you believe that when he speaks, he's telling the truth. So that means when he tells you that I had a dream about so and so about this, that, and third, he's telling you the truth. Is what you believe, right? Cool.
I believe that when he says I had this dream, this was my state in the dream, this is what was said to me, and it was clear to me. I felt in the dream that my body was telling me this is Rasulullah. I believe that. Okay, you're saying you had that dream, and that's how you felt in the dream. I believe that dream happened.
Okay, cool.
So you believe in the dreams, then?
Here we go. You believe in the dreams. That's the whole point. The point is that at the end of the day, if you believe in him and he's truthful, he's telling you the truth. That means that his dreams are true to you. You believe his dreams are truthful. It's like, hey, listen, if I believe he's telling you the dream, I'll even die for his dreams. So do you. You believe in the dreams of Muhammad Qasim. That's why you're up here at 9:30 p.m. UK time defending Muhammad Qasim, because you believe that his dreams at the end of the day are truthful. You believe
no, but actually, the premise of all of this, Akhi, the premise of me coming on here was actually to defend him by what people are saying that he's an intentional liar. And that
we've never said he was an intentional liar. We've never said that.
You know what? I
falsehood.
I tell you what. I think I might have said that on the last show. I don't believe him. I think he's definitely a deviant. I think he knows.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
I think he knows. I lean more towards the side of he knowingly is lying to people. That's the way I feel. Just like you hear him talk, you look at him and you think he's a truthful person. I see him and I see the opposite. But
Yeah. So I would
just
defend that on his
okay.
behalf.
That's fine. Guess
Yeah.
what? We both are seeing one thing, and what our assessment leads us to different conclusions. But let me ask you this question: if you find out that Muhammad Qasim said in his dreams, documented in his dreams, that if the people don't follow his dreams or believe in his dreams, that Allah will punish them, then what do you believe? Will you still believe in his dreams, or what? Because that would put him on the level of a messenger, right? Because what Rasulullah says, if we don't follow Rasulullah, we will be punished because he's sent by Allah. The messages, he's Allah's messenger. Allah sent him to give us a message, commands, instructions, prohibitions. So I say it very clearly: if you find out that Muhammad Qasim in his dreams said that if we don't follow and believe in his dreams, that Allah will punish us, then what will you do?
I'd question that.
Wait,
I would really question that. Yeah, definitely.
Would that be if you found out that he actually said that and this is what he meant? Would you say, okay, enough of this, I'm gonna leave this alone?
So that would basically lead me to think, okay, what's basically going on here? Like, let me just do more, dig into some more investigation, see what he's talking about, etc.
See, this is what you need to do, and this is what you need to do with anything going forward, right? What I'm
obviously compare it to Quran and Sunnah as well, of course. That's the first thing
right.
you do, right?
What we try to get people to do is try to establish a line of like, okay, here's my line with this, right? If he crosses this line, I'm done, right? Yeah. If you don't establish a line, and your answer is always, well, I'm gonna have to do some research and figure it out. You're always gonna be able to figure out an excuse to accept it.
But I already have my lines, Akhi. I have my lines already.
Okay. So what are some of your lines like that you're like, all right, if this happens, I'm done with this.
So anything first of all that 100% it contradicts what is commanded from us by Allah and His Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Well, what about what Rasulullah is saying? Do not reveal your dreams to anyone except for those you love and those with knowledge.
But that's the thing. I'm just taking these from your words. Like what you just said right now.
I can pull it up. I'll pull it up.
But Ibrahim, I mean, if you're going to be a person who is going to join a movement and believe in a person based on his dreams, as a Muslim, you should have the first thing you should have done, instead of after the fact when he gets proved wrong or someone challenges him and then you say, well, I'm going to go do some research on that. The first thing you should have done was research on dreams. How as Muslims do we deal with dreams? What are the hadith on dreams and how we should do? What did the ulama say about dreams? How we approach a person who's who is spreading and sharing their dreams? What should we do? That's the first thing that you should have done. You didn't do that.
I did do a fair bit of research on dreams. Of course I did.
Okay, and so what precedent in the past? I would say what person that wasn't outright deemed a heretic and a deviant and actually not even a Muslim by the majority of scholars have come out and talked about their dreams or getting revelation or some sort of communication from Allah that they then told the people about. What person in history of Islam has said that hasn't been automatically deemed a heretic, a deviant, and excommunicated, thrown out of the religion of Islam by the majority of scholars? Musaylima, you have Musaylima the liar. That's one person that said they had dreams. Okay, that was during the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You have various people. Farad Muhammad, the person, the guy's Nation of Islam people. You have what's the guy now? The Qadianis, Mirza Ghulam Ahmed. I mean, what do you think about Mirza Ghulam Ahmed? I mean, you're basically the same thing. There's really no difference between Muhammad Qasim and him.
I know that.
The only difference is that he was outright. Well, they started the same actually. They started very the same.
No, but Akhi, to be honest though, that is a bit of sort of done though, because you're claiming you know their intentions when you don't.
No, we don't know their intentions. We don't. You're right. But a person's intentions plays out in their actions. We do know that he intended to gain a following. We do know that. because that's right in his dreams.
No,
We
no.
do
But so,
know.
so he says in his dreams, he says that the only reason he was getting dreams for over 30 years, and he always questioned them, and like, why do I get these sort of dreams? And they're very bizarre, ajib dreams about future events and things like this. And then there came a point after about receiving them for about 30 years. He said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told him in his dreams to share these dreams with the people of Pakistan to save Islam and to save the people.
And this is how you're gonna have to look into that, because if you look into his book, he was having dreams very early as a child where Allah was commanding him, alleged to do that, and he never did it. So like even by him, Allah, he's supposed to believe Allah and Rasulullah was commanding him to do something, and then he's like, yeah, I didn't do it. That should be a red flag right there. It was like, so you believe Allah was talking to you? Because if Allah came to my dream, I would hope, because otherwise I'd probably be a disbeliever, that I believe Allah came to my dream and commanded me to do something. I'm like, yeah, I ain't doing that. Like,
I mean, how is it even possible that you believe a person that says they're talking to Allah and they're also claiming to be a Muslim, and they get dreams and wahi and talk to Allah and Rasulullah and they can't even bring themselves to pray or wear a beard? I mean, you automatically should rule them out. Rasulullah said, let me say what Rasulullah said. Forget about Muhammad Qasim. Rasulullah said that the best deed that you can do, out of all the deeds that you can do, is to pray the salah on time. This is number one. Number two is being good to your parents. Number three is fighting jihad fi sabilillah. But if we look at those three, Muhammad Qasim doesn't mention any of that in his dream. None of it. But he does mention some shirk, and then he mentions some stuff in end times. It's just a bunch of fluff, really. I mean, he mentioned shirk to get you to say,
like, imagine someone's trying to sell you like a backpack, right? That's Muhammad Qasim trying to sell you guys a backpack. And he's saying, this backpack lets you walk. This backpack lets you talk. This backpack lets you breathe, right? Equivalent to like all the stuff we already know as Muslims. We already know to avoid shirk, right? We already know that avoid shirk and all this. We already know these things because Allah and Rasul told us that. But the backpack actually is full of garbage and trash and feces. But you guys are buying the backpack, not realizing, saying like, this, I could walk, I could talk, I could breathe. Not even paying attention that what he's really selling you is selling you, hey, I'm the Mahdi. That's what he's really selling you guys.
He's not actually that. See, this is what I mean. This is where you go a bit wrong, brother. And I'll tell you why.
No. Okay, I'll tell you why.
Because
real quick before I get into that, I want you to look at the screen if you can see it. This is the hadith. It's in Ibn Majah, and this is the part you need to pay attention to at the end where it says a person should not tell them except to one whom he loves or one who is wise. And this is graded as Hasan by Dar al-Salam, which that they're not really hadith graders, but this is just the one hadith. The many more that are in all types of collections only say to one you love. This is the one that says, okay, to one who's wise or a scholar. Okay, so even in the example that you gave about Umar, it's actually covered in this because the person that relayed his dream related to someone who is wise, a scholar, Umar. So he's still covered in that. But if you look at there's dozens and dozens of narrations where Rasul said, do not reveal your dream to anybody except for those you love. So there's the clear evidence. And if you go, like, again, don't take my word from it. Go look up all the scholarly sources about how Muslims handle dreams and all that, and they'll confirm all this for you.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. But it's like this. It's like the same way, for example, we spoke about the images earlier. And I told you about how, there's clear hadith about defacing images, etc. And you said, obviously, you don't just look at the hadith and then act upon it. Look at what the ulama said. The same thing I would say to you with this as well. It's like,
yeah, I have. That's why I just asked you to do that. Like, you're gonna. I'm saying you're actually go and you do the research and you look at the ulama says how to deal with dreams. That's why when Mubarak mentioned it earlier, that's the first thing, because what we've been trying to do, and we're constant on this, is trying to get these people that are following Muhammad Qasim, we're trying to reenact how they should have dealt with this. That's why when you first started talking and you said, I listened to him and I could just tell I felt he was a truthful person. So I asked you questions to like get you to think, okay, now think back rationally and think about what actually made you think that he was a truthful person. And you actually didn't have an answer, right? So there was nothing actually rational about it. It was just you felt it.
But the problem here, brother Jafar, is that when you, for example, like if there comes a person and he says something, one person says, I believe he's lying. The other person says, I believe he's telling the truth, right?
Mhm.
Ultimately, both of them two should say what? Allah knows best, right? Because it's something which is not, like, for example, until something has come to prove the lies, you can't really say he's lying until it's really, really evident now that, okay, he lied about that, you know?
But it's already come.
How?
It's already come.
How is it?
Like I said,
What has he lied
there's
about?
what has he lied about?
Yeah, tell me.
He lied about Allah and Rasul coming to him in his dreams to tell him to spread his
do you know
message
that?
to the world.
You don't know that, though.
We just went through this.
No, but
We
you
just
don't
went through
know.
this.
You can't say definitively that he is a liar. He lied and he never had these dreams.
No. It's a lie. Like, okay, let me be more careful with my speech. It's false. Okay? Allah and Rasul did not come to him in his dream and tell him to do something that goes against the Quran and Sunnah, which is spread his dreams to the world and tell people that Allah will punish them if they don't believe and follow his dreams.
No, but
that is false.
But the
Whether
way
he
believes, the way he has actually spoke himself and told people about what's happened with him and the situation of his dreams is very different to how you're saying it, and that's the point.
Have you read his dream book?
No, but this is the bit where, like,
have you read his dream book?
His dream book?
Yeah.
Whose dream book?
Muhammad Qasim's.
What? It's an actual book?
Yes, it's an actual book.
Actually, brother, see, this is the problem.
Okay, so what's the book called? What's the book called?
Muhammad Qasim's
dreams.
1 second. I didn't know that there was an actual book published.
Yes.
You see, this is the problem. Do you see any problem with this that we know more about? We hope that because I'm hoping we can get somewhere with you, because it should be a red flag. Like, wait, these guys stumbled upon Muhammad Qasim, and within a few weeks, they know more about his teachings and beliefs than I do, and I believe in him.
Okay, wait. Can someone give me a link or something to this book?
Oh gosh, if it's man,
yeah,
I'll tell you something. You gotta understand, I'm really, really interested in. Like I said to you before in the beginning, like whenever I hear, or if I hear from anyone that someone's had a dream and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has spoken to them in there, and it's been proven by ulama that this can happen, right? Ibn Taymiyyah said it happened to Imam Ahmed. He said, I saw Allah in a dream.
So if I tell you I had a dream and Allah Rasul came to me and told me to tell Ibrahim not to follow Muhammad Qasim, then what?
But this is the thing, that's not happened. So you can't really, Well,
if it did, you could say, like, wait, what would I do in that case?
Okay, so I'll tell you what I did when I heard about Muhammad Qasim. I made a lot of dua first of all, and I did istikhara, because I was genuinely I'm not a person who just believes things straight away. I told you about my journey and stuff for a reason, and how I was opposed to dreams and stuff like that. So I've been continuously, even till today, asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala really for hidayah. If this man's truthful, I want to know, and stuff like that, right? And that's a lot of that's something which whenever I've told people about Muhammad Qasim, I tell them, listen, but all I'm going to say to you is this: do istikhara, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is very merciful, and He will not let His slave down. So,
do you think that it's a problem that like you're actually not fully 100% convinced about Muhammad Qasim, but you're still in spreading his message?
No, but this
you don't find any risk in that?
The thing is that you already have it in your mind that these are a cult, etc. You have your thing fixated. I'm not like that. I take things, like, as it comes, like one bit by bit, step by step. That's the thing with me. So the first thing I did was, oh Allah, someone has claimed that you're speaking to them in dreams and your prophet. So, oh Allah, I know this is possible because it's been told to us by our sources, scholars. I had it happen to Imam Ahmed. I did my due diligence. I did my research. So, Imam Ahmed said, I saw Allah in a dream, and I said to him, Ya Rab, oh my Rab, what is the deed or the action through which I can seek, or a slave of yours can seek close proximity through to you? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said, through the Quran. And then Imam Ahmed responded and he said, with or without understanding. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said both. And his son narrated that from him. And now we have that in books, and the whole ummah has it. So are you going to say the same thing about Imam Ahmed?
Imam Ahmed made salat.
Pardon?
Imam Ahmed made salat.
No, but this man also prays. I've seen him pray.
Do you mean you saw the video that we all saw of him leading us a lot?
I can say to you, Shahid, I've seen with my own eyes him pray, and him admit that his prayers are not good.
He prays less than once a week.
Hold up, Ibrahim, are you saying you saw him pray? Listen, they put out a couple videos of him praying, Probably because we were banging so hard on him about the fact that he doesn't pray. But we won't jump to conclusion about that. But
Yeah, you
have you
can't. You're not allowed to
heard?
do that either. Akhi. You're not allowed to do that.
Have you heard him? Because there was no audio. Have you heard him pray? Have you heard him recite Surah Al-Fatiha?
No, but what's that? Why is that important right now?
It's
Because he might not
important
know how to pray.
because do you know how many times people make videos of them making dua? They make a video of them praying. It's a production. It's a show. That's how. That's
No,
why.
but this is the
So
thing. No, because if
you
look at the
actually
video,
actually you have not seen him pray. You've only seen him. You saw him stand in front of some people, and you saw him what looked like prayer, but you actually can't confirm it because you didn't even hear him say Allahu Akbar.
but I'm gonna have husn of
You
dhan
didn't.
and assume. I'm gonna have husn of dhan, akhi, and assume that these brothers pray Jama'ah, inshallah, for one of the salawat.
Well,
No,
so
we're not.
when you have
We're not
husn
assuming
al-dhan,
nothing.
right?
Hold up,
Yeah,
Jafar. We don't need to
right.
assume because he already told us out of his own mouth that he does not pray.
No,
He
but
does not pray.
you're talking about this specific video. Like you're talking about in this specific video. Was it just for show off? Was it this? That? I'm not.
That was the same
I'm not
video
right,
you
it's not
seen,
right, it's
brother.
not-
Yeah. So you
That was the
haven't
same video you seen.
you haven't confirmed anything. You haven't even heard him say Allahu Akbar. You haven't heard him say Al-Fatiha. You haven't even seen him go into ruku'. You saw him
Okay.
stand in front of the
Yeah.
people. You did not see him pray. Prayer has certain pillars. There are
No.
arkan. So one of them is standing. The other one is ruku'. The other one is sujood. Okay, so you did not see him pray. You saw him look like he was about to pray, and that's all you saw. But we actually have heard him say that he does not pray, except for maybe once or twice a week. That's a maybe. You know what usually that means? When someone says maybe, that means he could go 3-4 weeks without praying.
No. Allah
Which
guide him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide him.
Yes, I mean, may Allah guide him.
I mean.
Yes.
Yeah. So
But so like we can't.
what's the point, akhi?
So
I
the
agree
point
with
is that the point is we can't use examples of Rasul Sallallahu dreams because he's not a prophet. We can't use examples of Sahabas having dreams because this guy's not a Sahaba or Tabi'in or anything. We can't use the example of well-known pious ulama from the history having dreams because he's not a pious and he's not an ulama. He's not anything, right?
But
So
what do you mean by
any
that, though?
dream-
As in, use examples of dreams for what specifically?
Because, like, for instance, I know this is possible. For you to have a support of Muhammad Qasim's dreams, you have to bring an authentic reference from the past, right? Of the ulama, the scholars, the Sahaba, Rasul Sallallahu believing in or confirming the dreams of someone who doesn't even pray. And you will not find any example in our history of Islam.
Okay, no, but the thing is, when we were speaking about this earlier, just before when this bit happened of our conversation, I was saying to you that when I heard about this man who's having dreams and Allah and the Rasul speaks to him, I found this to be quite ajib and amazing. It doesn't happen every day. We said that before. So what did I do? I'm saying I did my research and I wanted to find out, can this actually happen? Can Allah speak to someone in the dream? Has this happened before in the Ummah? To first see, is this possible? Yes or no? Right? Because it's the news that came to me. So obviously I was just like, whoa, stumped by it. I was stumped by it a little bit. So I was like, okay, let's see if this is even possible. And it was confirmed that it was. So then it led to
So you confirmed when you did your research that this is possible because we have examples of this happening to very righteous individuals. That's what you confirmed.
Yeah, no,
right?
I confirmed that inshallah Imam Ahmad was righteous. Yeah, he's from
yeah.
Not from the.
So,
like,
but you haven't. You didn't find any examples or any possibilities that it happens to unrighteous people.
That's why I made dua, because it's like, okay, I don't know this person. So the first thing I did was I did this.
So this is I want to point this out to you, and I hope you could see where I'm going with this. Is that like, so as Muslims, when we make Salatul Istikhara, we make Salatul Istikhara on like decisions or life events that we are truly like we don't know what to do, right? The fact that you heard his dreams and you went and did research and didn't find any evidence that an unpious person who doesn't pray has seen Allah and Rasulullah in their dreams. You didn't find any evidence of that. You found evidence of pious people. And in fact, you went back and said, you know what? I'm going to make dua on it and then make Salatul Istikhara on it. Means that you were already leaning towards believing in this already.
No,
it's
not
very
really.
Evident from
no.
Yeah,
you don't know that. No, it's not. You can't. The thing is, though, you can't say that on my behalf because I know my doubts, and you know when I think about my guidance between me and Allah.
Find any evidence of when you didn't find any evidence of a person who does not pray having dreams of Allah and Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, why didn't you just stop there?
What do you mean? Stop there, Zin?
Because this, and again, we're gonna try to keep doing this because this is what a rational person would do in that situation, right? A person said they had dreams of Allah and Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. First, I would say, okay, is this something? You said it was something amazing. It's not amazing whatsoever because you talked about you come from a family of Baravelis that they believe in their sheikhs that they talk to Allah and Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam in dreams all the time. That's not amazing because people have been claiming it since the time Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam came.
No, I'm saying if someone truly did, if that did happen, that would be an amazing thing. If that happened, you know, like it did.
Well, saying it, yeah, if it's amazing, yeah, if it actually happened,
of course it's amazing, right? We can all agree with that.
Right. So, but someone claiming it is not amazing, right? Just like someone claiming to be the Mahdi, it's not amazing, especially from Pakistan, right?
No,
not amazing,
fine,
right?
But I can't.
So then the next step would be
sorry, go on.
No, so then the next step is you went and researched, like, is it possible, right, for a person to have dreams of Allah and Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam? And you did some research and you found that it's possible. But in your research, you should have noticed that, because if you do the research, they say very clearly, like, this only happens with pious individuals, right? They say very clearly in all the stuff you look up online. You could Google it. I've done it.
There's a hadith actually that says that the people who are truest in speech actually get the true dreams from Allah.
Yeah, mu'min, believers. Right? Because Muslims.
But does that hadith say mu'min or believers, or does it say truest?
Yes.
The truth for people.
Yes. The hadith starts off like during the end times, right? It'll be hardly a dream that a mu'min has that won't be true.
Yeah, Muhammad Qasim is a Muslim.
And then it goes on to say the ones that had the truest of dreams had the truest of speech and all that, right? So you don't know if Muhammad Qasim is truthful in speech, right? You don't, at this point, you don't know if he's a mu'min. You don't know anything about him.
I know he's a Muslim. I know he's a Muslim.
You know he's a Muslim. There's a difference between a Muslim and a mu'min.
So are you saying that a Muslim can't have a true dream, but a mu'min can? Is that what you're saying?
I didn't say that at all. We're talking about Muhammad Qasim.
A Muslim and a mu'min can both have a dream, inshallah. That's true, yeah? Yeah, they can. But we're talking about the hadith, right? We're talking about, right? Yeah. Okay. So when you did that research and you found that, okay, it is possible, but all this stuff is clearly saying that it's possible with very righteous people. Then when you found out, you know that, okay, Muhammad Qasim doesn't pray. He said he doesn't pray. Right there, a rational person, like, okay, he's not a pious person. So I'm not going to believe that he saw Allah and Rasul in his dream. I'm not going to go make dua on it. I'm not going to go make salat al-istikhara on it, because right there I have my evidence that he's not a pious person. This only happens with pious individuals. He's not pious. Okay, he must be seeing things. No, but I don't believe personally. I don't believe that. Like, for example, how many times do we find, even like a kafir, for example, he saw a dream. The Prophet Muhammad came to me and it leads him to Islam.
I have no idea if that's true or not. We have no idea if it's true or not.
The thing is, brother, is we have so many instances here where people have come to Islam or something's happened. People have received warnings. They've had dreams that have come true, and they're not Muslims. So
if a kafir, let me ask you a question. If a kafir, he says, I don't believe in Allah and Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but I had a dream that Allah and Rasul came to me in a dream and they said avoid shirk in all its forms. Would you follow him?
I'd say to him, listen, if you really saw that dream, then it's a warning for you, brother. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh, why didn't you say it to Muhammad Qasim?
Say what?
Why didn't you say it to Muhammad Qasim? What you just said to the kafir.
Which was?
Bro, it's a warning for you, bro. Bro, you need to get on your deen. You need to start making salat.
Okay,
why didn't you go do it to Allah, make salat al-istikhara? Should I follow him?
Okay, but how do you know that I've not made dua? Oh Allah, please guide him to become a better Muslim. How do you know I've not done that?
Why didn't you say that's a warning for you?
I've never spoken to Muhammad Qasim. I don't have.
Why didn't you? Okay, I know. Okay, but do you get what I'm saying? Mubarak, can you clarify what I'm trying to say to him?
I mean, it's clear that Muhammad Qasim, okay, even if you say he had the dream, what Jafar is trying to say is that you said that if a kafir had a dream that Allah or Rasulullah came to him and said avoid shirk in all its forms, you would tell the kafir that's a warning for you. Why aren't you telling Muhammad Qasim that should have been you didn't automatically think
he already knows that, Akhi. He already knows that. He knows that this is a warning for him and the people of Pakistan to fix up and like avoid shirk
for the people of Pakistan.
Cut down the idols. What's the big
so it's for the people of Pakistan.
Why is it for the kafir and not for Muhammad Qasim? Why is it not a warning for him?
I don't get what you're saying because
okay, all right. Okay, let me ask this question because
Yeah.
I mean it's like we're never gonna be able to get
Yeah, no, I know.
we're never
You're
gonna
not
be able
really
to
gonna
get
get.
you to
You're not gonna get a
to
definitive
I mean that
conclusion here. Like,
yeah it seems obvious, but what I want to know is this. Okay, we heard about I don't want you to mention avoid shirk in all its forms. We have heard that from every single supporter, but tell me what in Muhammad Qasim's dreams that is not already present. Like we already know it by consensus. You already have to know this to be a Muslim. Avoid shirk and be good or whatever. What about Muhammad Qasim's dreams? If I just completely ignore them, will I be making a mistake? If I say, man, I'm just ignoring Muhammad Qasim altogether, what part of his dreams will it be um that I would miss out on or that I would lose out on by ignoring his dreams? That I need to hear because avoid shirk in all his forms. I don't need to know nothing about Muhammad Qasim. I don't need to know he even exists to know that because Allah already told us that, right? So what part of his dreams that if I ignore them altogether, I would be missing something?
absolutely nothing, inshallah. If
Oh,
you're not associating no partners with Allah, you're doing what Allah commanded, the Rasul. You fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, inshallah, you're living Islam, you're doing your thing, akhi. What's the problem?
So what's the point of following him then?
No, but this is what I'm trying to tell you, akhi. You have an idea in your mind that everyone there is a cult, but I've just proven to you right now by saying that you're good, inshallah. Because, akhi, like, look, this is where you like. It's really hard to like really understand.
No. So first, I want to correct you, because first, you're wrong according to Muhammad Qasim's dreams. Because the answer you should have given, is you should have told Mubarak that you will miss one, that he is the Mahdi and you'll be part of the first 300 people to follow the Mahdi and part of the blessed group that follows the Mahdi first. That's the first thing that he would miss, according to Muhammad Qasim's dreams. Two, if you don't follow him, because now he's heard of them, and if you ignore them and don't believe in them, Allah is going to punish you, according to Muhammad Qasim's dreams.
Yeah, but
that's
then
what you should have said.
Remember though,
so
coming on this
so
chat,
for you, for you saying that, right? And then you're saying, I believe in Muhammad Qasim's dreams, I believe he's a truthful person and all these different things. You're attesting to all of his dreams, that they're truthful, that you believe in them. So even though you don't know it, you're attesting to that, saying that Allah is going to punish everybody that does not believe in Muhammad Qasim's dreams. And
but that's not what I believe.
Oh, no. You cannot believe that personally, but you also have said that he is truthful. So you believe that he's telling the truth. So his truth, it has to be absolute. He's either always truthful or always a liar.
No, so if he had this dream, yeah, because I'm gonna go try and like find it, inshallah, yeah. But if he had this dream, and in that specifically, he says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to him that whoever does not believe in these dreams right now will be punished, etc. Yeah, then obviously now there's maybe it means something else, or I would just be a bit like think about that. Like I don't know.
What if he had a dream? What if he had a dream that Muhammad Qasim was he wanted to chase down a girl, he wanted to get married to a lady, right? And she refused him, right? And Allah said, "Don't worry, I have postponed the day of judgment so that you can pursue this woman." Would you still believe in his dreams?
That's not what he said, though. He's not said that.
Yeah, he has.
Yeah, he did.
You need to do a little bit more research, brother.
Let me stop you there, because when you have to do justice in it when you quote someone. You have to quote them correctly, You're not done that, because I've listened very.
No, I read it. I read it online.
No. It was that yesterday. It was that with the brother Tawheed, when you told him about the dream about the thing and the lasers. He did not mention your cartoonifying it, making it seem like it's a big cartoon.
Oh, he said okay. He didn't say lasers. He said light.
No, he said Nur of Allah was what he said. So quote him.
Light. That's what Nur means.
But I know, but he said Nur of Allah, right? But you're saying
Nur of Allah coming out of his fingers.
Yeah,
okay.
So think about it.
That's what he said he saw in his dream. But he did not say laser beams. You said laser beams. Do you understand? So
okay.
I was mocking the dream. Yeah. So
no, exactly. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. But if you're gonna quote someone out of sincerity to try and like you believe that there's some misguided, at least you know what I mean. Like do it properly, Like don't just start saying lasers, because he didn't say that. Because to someone else now, is this guy saying lasers from his fingers? He didn't say that. There's a big context. I've listened to
I want you to visualize what the Nur of Allah coming out of someone's hand would be. And then tell me what the difference. And tell me what the difference. And tell me what the difference between lasers coming from a guy's hands. I would like to know if there's a visual difference in that.
You imagine how you want to imagine it right now and say it, yeah. But
I wouldn't imagine it because first of all, the Nur of Allah would not come into a physical form and come out of somebody's hand. We don't speak about Allah in that way.
But dreams can be interpreted, so that can mean something.
Okay, yeah, because and who interpreted it? Muhammad Qasim.
No. But Muhammad Qasim has not. No, but Muhammad Qasim has not said because of that dream. Yeah, one day Nur of Allah is gonna come out my finger. He didn't say that. You're saying that on his behalf that he's claiming that, but he hasn't.
But okay, if you go and read the dreams, I want to know if you go and read the dreams and you find out that exactly what I just said about Allah saying that He has postponed the day of judgment so that Muhammad Qasim can pursue a woman for marriage. If you read that and you find out, like, okay, Brother Jafar wasn't lying, and you find that to be true, would that be something that would at least cause you to question his dreams?
No, but I've already researched this, and I can tell you that what that was he said that there was something in the dream which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was speaking to him and saying to him that basically I will fulfill my promises to you, right? And there was something with a woman, and he basically thought that Allah's promise meant that he's going to marry this woman, yeah. But then obviously it became clear to him once a woman had left and something happened that he was never going to marry this woman. So he's thinking, what is this promise referring to? So that's the context.
And so basically the context is that there's a fairy in a soda machine handing out cans of Coke. You just move the goalposts. You just keep even though it clearly says right in there, you just keep changing the interpretation.
No, because I'm telling you, I've listened to it all carefully, and I'm telling you what the context is. So that thing about the woman, if someone wanted to ask.
So you actually read that dream? So you actually read that dream?
I heard it from his mouth.
You heard that dream from his mouth?
I heard that dream from his mouth. Yeah, he narrated it. He told us what happened. In the
okay, all right. So I'm sorry. I actually I'm out of time, so I gotta jump off. But I appreciate your time, Ibrahim. I enjoyed talking to you. Please pardon me for my the way I come off sometimes. As people say, I'm a little aggressive and I get a little overboard. So I apologize. You can always come on anytime. And bring some help with you, some people who have maybe a little bit more information and knowledge about the dreams and stuff, because like I said, we're not afraid of information, but for you personally, I would say if you don't need, like I said, when I asked you what would you be missing out on if you ignored Muhammad Qasim's dreams altogether, you said nothing, as long as you're avoiding shirk and all these things. So as long as you yourself are avoiding shirk and these things, these obvious things that are wrong in Islam, I would say for you, my nasiha to you as a brother in Islam, and I love you for the sake of Allah, is to you also, since you don't need his dreams, ignore them altogether and leave them all together, because you don't need them and I don't need them. So leave his dreams to the people who allegedly need them, and let us just follow the Quran and the Sunnah and stick with Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. So may Allah bless you, brother. I gotta run. Thank you for your time. Y'all can continue. All right. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, I want to ask one question. Yeah.
Yep. Go ahead.
So, for example, and obviously, for example, if someone has claimed that, we've seen dreams and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has showed me things that are going to happen in the future, and this, again, okay, forget about Muhammad Qasim for a second, but this can happen, right? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can show someone a dream about a warning about something that's going to happen, like, for example, in Gaza, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help them. Like, some of the mothers, they said that, we expected this because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala showed us dreams about what was going to happen a month before, as a warning, etc. So let's just say that Muhammad Qasim has obviously, he's not left really anything out. He's not hiding anything really and truly, right? And he's obviously spoke a great deal about the dreams that he's had, and a lot of them have to do with future events and things that he's seen, right? And some of them he's made pretty clear that this is what I saw. So, and if you don't know, let me just tell you what some of them are, yeah, because it's interesting information, right? So let's just say he said he saw in his dream about the death of Nawaz Sharif, who is the one of the ex-PMs, prime ministers or presidents of Pakistan, right? And he said that Allah showed him in his dream that this man will die. There's going to be a lot of fitna happening in Pakistan, right? And then what happens is, with all of this fitna that occurs, the chief of the Pakistan, or let's just say more and more people in Pakistan, they start to believe in Muhammad Qasim's dreams. So he's seen this in his dreams, apparently, according to what he said. So a lot of people start to dreams in they start to believe in his dreams, and his dreams start spreading throughout Pakistan a great deal, right? So he now becomes known like a lot because of his dreams, and like, okay, this is coming true, until what happens is it reaches the level of the politicians and the army. Okay. And then what happens is he saw in his dream that
the general has a dream. So some comes to the general,
Yes.
and then the general says, "I am following you." And then eventually, Muhammad Qasim becomes the president of Pakistan. Allah gives them black jets, and then they go and they attack and all these different things. Yeah.
And then basically, what happens is when the chief of Pakistan, he gets testimony from Rasulullah in his own dream that Qasim was telling the truth. He was not lying about a thing, and his dreams are from Allah. Then they implement a new system in Pakistan to eliminate shirk on a political level. So now there's laws that are implemented where statues, idols, all of these things, they are not allowed. Okay, now you know when I hear this, yeah, like the thought of that makes me really happy. Imagine a land purified from shirk, right? Okay, good. So I'm sure every Muslim will generally want that in within itself, like a land which is pure from images, idols, etc. And the government, they want to prevent shirk, etc. That's a good thing, of course, yeah. So if you saw that, for example, happening in your lifetime, let's just say you saw that, okay, there was a death, as you had a dream about, there was the chief, he said that I saw the dream, as Muhammad Qasim said, and now we are working to implement shirk because we believe that in his dreams, just as we were told in the Quran as well, that, victory will not come until you worship Allah alone without any partners, right? You can't get victory unless if you're doing shirk with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So now they do that. Let me ask you, if you saw that with your own eyes and you're like, okay, that's happened, would you change your mind a little bit?
Nope.
So basically, you're asking, now sum it up to the people because you can add a lot of fluff around to it. But the summary of what you're asking is, if some of the stuff that Muhammad Qasim predicted comes true, would you follow him? That's the summary of the question.
No. I'm saying these things specifically, right? As we've said,
these things, whatever things they are, the summary of your question is: if these things came true that he predicted, would we follow him? Right.
So would you believe? No, not follow.
Would I believe in him? Would I believe in him?
Would you believe? No, I'm asking you specifically. Would you start to believe that maybe these dreams he had were from Allah?
Okay, so let me just summarize again. If these things that he's predicting in his dreams came true, would I start to believe that these dreams are from Allah?
Yeah.
And here's my answer for you. Let me find it real quick. Aisha, radiyallahu anha, this is in Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim. So Sahihain, both the Sahihs. Some people asked the Messenger of Allah, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, about soothsayers. The Prophet said, they are upon nothing. Nothing. They said, "O Messenger of Allah, sometimes they speak about things that come true." The Prophet ﷺ said, "Those are the words snatched by jinn, who whisper into their ears of their friends, and it is mixed with more than 100 lies." So just because some of the things that he predicted comes true does not mean anything. We go back to the beginning where the whole concept of him saying that Allah and Rasulullah are telling him to do something that Allah and Rasulullah in Quran and authentic hadith has said not to do, which is spread your dreams to all of mankind, or else if they don't believe in it, they will be punished. It doesn't matter what comes true because Allah and Rasulullah do not contradict themselves.
No,
so
okay.
And here we go. And then for your thing about these predictions, you haven't read his dream book. I have. And I've read these dreams that they claim this is a prediction that came true. And I have not come across any dream that actually came true. What they do is when you take spaghetti, there's a saying in America, if you throw spaghetti at the wall, some of it's going to stick. If you make enough predictions and you make enough ambiguous dreams that have to be interpreted, and then something happens, and you say, "Yep, that's what my dream meant."
Yeah, there was one that actually did come true, by the way.
I've been asking for months for someone to send me any dream of Muhammad Qasim that clearly, specifically, that he predicted that came true, and no one's been able to send not one to me.
Yeah.
So I'm giving you the same challenge.
No, that's fine. I can send you one, inshallah. I don't know how to. So basically, it's a link here. I can send it to you because I've seen it. I watched it a lot of times. And yeah, it's a very clear one that did come true. Now, obviously, again, it's not him predicting anything. This is him just saying, "This is what I saw," and then later on is like, "Okay, what you said you saw in the dream actually happened." So it's not him saying, "I predict this" or "I predict that." He's not.
One thing we gotta do is, and what you guys have to do is stop trying to separate Muhammad Qasim from his dreams.
What do you mean by that?
If he said he has a dream, these are his dreams. You can't say, "Oh, he didn't say that." No, he did say that. It's his dream.
Yeah.
You can't say, "Oh no, his dream said that." No, these are his dreams. So if he's having a dream and he's saying, "I had this dream and this is what this dream is saying and this dream is true," it's the same as him saying that. Just like you guys say, he doesn't claim to be the Mahdi, but all his dreams claim that
allude to it. Yeah, exactly.
It's the same exact thing.
But what I'm saying is like when you say this man predicted certain things, there's a difference between someone saying, "I predict that this is going to happen," and someone saying that Allah showed me in a dream this.
Yeah,
there's a difference.
So are you? So what? So are we saying that Muhammad Qasim's dreams don't predict anything?
No. Is that because actually what it is when it comes to Muhammad Qasim, I try to choose my words very carefully, and just like I do with any human being when I'm talking about their affair, because we should have always justice, right? Justice is never not good, so we should always try our best to put things in their place, lest other people take out of context and stuff like that, right? So we don't want people to start thinking that Muhammad Qasim is just randomly predicting things for the future. No, he's not, because that's why I made the difference, because he's saying that Allah showed me this in a dream. And then other people realize they put videos out like, okay, this dream that he noted it like in 2020 or something, or like whatever. And then 3 years later, this dream actually came true. It's not him. It's not him.
It's real simple. Does his dreams predict the future or not?
Some of his dreams do speak about the future, yeah. So
so Muhammad Qasim has dreams that speak about the future, which that's a prediction. That's what it is. And about the future means a prediction.
Yeah.
Right.
And the way he has the dreams is like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the Prophet Muhammad, they're the ones telling him. So
Allah and Rasul are telling him about the future, and he's conveying that future message to you guys. Like, it's not semantics. Muhammad Qasim is predicting the future
with his dreams. Yes,
it's very. Just word games that you guys are playing at this point.
Like, no. But this is the thing. Look, why did you say word games? The thing is, you have to understand my intention here when I'm doing this is because I don't want people to start saying that this man's just predicting random things. We're saying that these are from dreams. There's a difference between a man making a prediction, like a kafir, and these false prophets and so on. Then someone who's actually sincerely saying that I had this dream and Allah showed me some things. And
where do false prophets get their predictions from?
Some of them can get them directly from shaitan. Like they do sihr
in their dreams.
They can get them in their dreams as well.
Right. So if they're making false predictions about the future, telling people about future events, the same as Muhammad Qasim was doing, like, it's just semantics. Like, you guys are like, I don't understand why you guys are so afraid of saying Muhammad Qasim is making predictions about the future. He is making predictions about the future. He's saying they're coming from Allah and Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You could believe that or not if you want. But he's the one that's telling you that. You actually, even before that, you actually don't even know if he had this dream because you can't witness his dreams.
No, but I'm saying he's not made the prediction from himself, from his own mind.
No.
Which is in an Islamic context.
We agree with that 100%.
It's a bit different. And we have to remember that, look, in the end of times, the Prophet ﷺ did speak to us about dreams. They will be very important, yeah? They're going to be used to guide believers at a time where there's a lot of misguidance, okay? They're going to be mubashirat.
Where did Rasul sallallahu say that the dreams will guide the believers when there's a lot of fitna?
Okay, so basically, like, glad tidings and warnings, what are they for? What is prophethood for? Prophethood is a guidance, right?
Prophethood, yes, prophethood.
Okay, and dreams and dreams are a form of prophethood, a form of revelation. It's a part of prophethood.
And do you understand what that means when Rasul says dreams are 146, the prophethood?
How many explanations are there to that?
Oh, there's a few explanations.
Yeah, so what are they?
So how do you understand it? Do you actually believe that these dreams are a form of prophetic revelation, as in wahi, that a person must follow?
So that, like I said, they can come as glad tidings and warnings.
All right. So my question again is: do you believe that
because
they are a
for
form
example,
of revelation
the way
that a
I've understood
believer
it,
must
yeah,
follow.
the way I've understood it is that in the Quran we were told that the prophets were sent as givers of glad tidings and warners, right?
Yes.
So mubashirat, we were told that they can be glad tidings and warnings. So the
Yes.
prophets, dreams, glad tidings, warnings. That's my understanding of it in a nutshell. In a
So
bubble.
basically, you believe that for us, if I have as a Muslim, I have a dream, and if it's true and it comes from Allah, I have to follow it on the same level as following the Quran and the Hadith.
What do you mean by follow it?
Like
follow it, obey it, listen
that's what
to
it
it,
says, yes.
act on it.
Yeah.
Well, it depends, isn't it, on what the dream is and if it's in line with Sharia and what the context was.
Yeah, like so the context is this dream is a true dream that came from Allah as glad tidings and a warning to me. And you believe it's 146 of prophethood. Do you believe that to mean that I have to follow that just like I follow the ayats of the Quran and the Sahih authentic hadiths?
No, I believe that that's a glad tidings to you or a warning to you, depending on what the dream was.
And right. So, and if I don't follow it, what's the problem? Is there a problem with me not following it?
I mean, would you be wise to know that this was a glad tidings or a warning and then not ignore it?
That's a different question. I'm asking you the question. Is there
No,
a
but
problem?
that would be my response. I would question and say, would it be wise to ignore that when you know that was from Allah?
Okay, so this goes into another topic. You don't know if it came from Allah.
But you're saying that if you received the dream from Allah and it was prophethood,
you believe. If you believe,
it's from Allah.
The only thing you can do is believe. Have a feeling that I believe this was a glad tidings and it came from Allah. That's your belief. That's your opinion based off of whatever you have. If you believe this dream came from Allah, look, because you're avoiding the question. If you have a dream,
I'm really trying to.
You said you had your own dreams. If you believe the dream that you had came from Allah, came from Allah, and you believe that it's 146 prophethood, right? And in your understanding, does you believe that you have to follow that dream, obey that dream, and act on that dream, just like you have to act on the Quran and the authentic Sunnah? Yes or no?
Like for example, like if I had a dream and let's just say like I believed it was from Allah, and let's just say it was something about paradise lies under the feet of your mother. So if you go and massage her feet, you'll enter paradise. And I thought, yo, this was a dream from Allah. Like I got happy, like Allah's giving me a way to get into paradise, right? And I believe this now. So I believe that this dream was 100% from Allah because it spoke about Jannah, it spoke about the mother, it spoke about paradise under her feet. And I was given glad tidings that if I do this, you'll be in a nice place, right?
Yeah.
Now, for me, that's all in line with the Sharia. And now, if I intentionally don't do what was basically hinted at me in the dream, I'd be an idiot, really and truly. I'd be a big idiot.
So basically, if correct me if I'm wrong, you believe that dreams that you have that you believe are from Allah are on the same level as the Quran and the Sunnah.
The Quran and the Sunnah is completely like it's above our heads. Like dreams,
right?
It can be interpreted.
It's wahid. Exactly. So you don't believe they're on the same level.
No, not
right. Because
right.
So in the same example you gave, if you decided to ignore that dream about going to massage your mother's feet, nothing would happen to you. Allah would not punish you for it. Nothing. But if you don't follow the Quran, this is what the difference is. And this is why, because we're going to have to end the show in a minute. And we're going to give you a last, but
and I'll send you the book too, inshallah, after this.
Yeah.
I have the book
and so the difference is that dreams, we do not have to act on them, even if they are in line with the Quran and the Sunnah. Even if we do believe that they are glad tidings and warning from Allah, right? The difference, like when you're saying this, it's 146 of prophethood, right? There's a different understanding that you and all the other believers of Muhammad Qasim are missing. I challenge you to go research that, right? Because for prophethood, the Quran and the Sunnah, if we do not follow them and we choose to ignore them, we will be punished for that. So dreams are in a whole different category, right? Whole different category. And there's multiple explanations for what 146 of prophethood means. And none of them go back to even comparing it as being anywhere close to the level of how we act on the Quran and the Sunnah. Mm-hmm. So that's that. So like, is there any other things that you'd like to say for us? And hopefully we can have these discussions again. We love talking with people. to come on and speak. And our whole goal, again, is to get people to follow the Quran and the Sunnah. And we have a unique insight because of our experiences and because of our research, because of the work we do into cult and cult-like behavior and what cult leaders do and what cult followers do. And we're trying to get the message out to all the people that are following Muhammad Qasim that this is a cult. And whether you want to call you guys followers, believers, supporters, helpers, you guys are becoming a cult followers of Muhammad Qasim and the people that are handling him. And it will become more and more evident as time goes on. We see all the signs and we see the changes and we see what's going on because we're just watching because we have experience with this. Everybody else is kind of sitting in a vacuum and just focusing on his dreams and these things about the Mahdi and all that, and not actually paying attention to what's going on. Because if you step back away from it and you just watched and you did some research on cults and how they behave, how the leaders behave, how to organize like the life cycle of a cult, you will see clear signs like, wow, this is a cult. Because there's going to get to a time when it's going to become real clear. Right, there's going to get to a time where there's going to be certain requirements of you guys to belong to the group or to belong to a certain level, whether it's you have to produce a certain amount of videos or you have to spread the message. Even some people now are already having to pay dues and fees to belong to this group of helpers. So, and you'll see it, and you'll keep saying, oh, it's just a message of, don't engage in shirk and avoid shirk in all of its forms. But then as you go on, it'll be more about Muhammad Qasim's the Mahdi. Muhammad Qasim's the Mahdi. Follow him, believe him, to the point where they're going to be calling people to Pakistan, come make hijrah over here to Pakistan to be with the Mahdi and all, along those vessels. But it'll become very evident. So we're trying to warn you and everybody else that, as Mubarak said, you said it yourself, we don't need Muhammad Qasim's dreams. So if people don't need his dreams, we should not be spreading something that people do not need to other people. You could easily go and tell all your friends, hey man, avoid shirk in all of its forms because Allah said this and Rasulullah said this. And you never need to mention Muhammad Qasim at all, because the risk in that is, at least hopefully during this conversation, you at least recognized there's some doubtful or some questionable things that you have to look into. And as Muslims, it's a big sin to go around and say, Allah said this or Rasulullah said that, and it not be true. And if you're quoting anything that Allah and Rasulullah allegedly said in the dreams of somebody that you actually can't confirm is true, you just believe him, you can't witness his dreams, you don't know if he's telling the truth. He could literally be going back to his room, going back to his journal, and then making stuff up and never actually had the dream. You don't know that, right? Or it could be Shaitan in his dreams telling him all these different things. You don't know that. And for someone to go and take something that is doubtful, right? It's a big sin to speak on Allah without knowledge. And to go say, hey, Allah said this. That's a grave sin. You could be preparing your seat for the hellfire that by saying something Allah said that he did not actually say, or something that Rasulullah said that they did not say. So don't spread Muhammad Qasim's dreams. Just spread the Quran and the Sunnah while you do your research and all that. If you want to believe in it and spread the message of avoiding shirk, yes, do that. We encourage you to do that. But only quote the Quran and the Sunnah. Stick with the Quran and Sunnah. We don't need Muhammad Qasim's dreams. Nobody needs them, as you yourself has testified to. But with that, well, we're going to give you like the last word, and then we'll kind of close out, and then maybe we can make another arrangement for you and other individuals to come on the show.
Inshallah. Jazakallah khairan. So what I would say just before we go, inshallah, is so Muhammad Qasim, I would say, first of all, my main intention was to come and to whoever is listening to him, please don't mock any facial features and stuff like that. Just as we not only should be, even the kafir or your neighbor, no matter who it is, even if we like them or don't like them, this is a general advice to all the Muslims, because we love for each other what we love for ourselves. Yeah, I would say, do not mock anyone based on how they look. If you have a problem with what they say, then that's between you and Allah, and the hidayah is with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he said, Inna alayna lal huda. Yeah, so with us is the guidance. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has all the guidance. And in a hadith al-Qudsi, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he said about the mankind, he said, oh mankind, you are all misguided unless I guide you. Okay, so that should humble us a lot to say that ultimately the truth, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows it. And if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving this man true dreams, and they are mubashirat for Muhammad Qasim, And if there is goodness waiting for Pakistan through the dreams of this man, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala aid him. And just as Muhammad Qasim said, he said that in one dream, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told him and said, those who accuse you of lying, tell them, come, you and me, and let's both say, La'anatullah ala al-kadhib. May the curse of Allah be on the liars. That came from his own mouth. And so we ask that anyone who does lie in the name of Allah and His Messenger in order to deceive them and misguide them, then may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's curse be upon those who seek to, spread corruption. So, we ask Allah to guide him as well. And we'll leave it on that note, inshallah. Jazakumullah khair for your time.
Assalamu alaikum. Just a few announcements before we sign off here is we will be having a show, inshallah, next week on Monday with an interview with another person who's been kicked out of TMOA, Zainab, who has been kicked out of TMOA. We'll be doing another interview. She was kicked out of the TMOA cult, so we'll be interviewing her on next Monday at 8 o'clock. Are there any questions in the chat that we could address real quick that you noticed?
No. That's gonna need a whole show. If anyone in the chat wants to come to do a show with us regarding anything we discussed today, you want to join Brother Ibrahim, you want to join Brother Tahim who's on here like last Thursday. Please feel free to reach out to us. We're not scared of anyone. We're here to learn and educate as much as we can, inshallah. Amen. That's the ultimate goal, is to learn more and to hopefully educate people along the way. We thank everyone for their support, and we're trying to get to the bottom of this thing as you are too. But we're gonna close out here with the live for 2 hours on a random Monday.
Oh jeez. So I have a dream.
I have a dream too. I have to pray. Margaret's about to come in real soon, so let's go pray, everyone. All right, that should be the main point here. Is that go pray? It's very important.
Yes,
so
pray.
let's go pray, inshallah. Subhanallah walhamdulillah wa la ilaha illallah wallahu akbar wa la hawla wa la quwwata illa billahi al-aliyyil azim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum.